Mike the intern and Jay Stevens back in the
Wow.
studio. God, my hat, it's so white. It's just like, it's like
Yeah.
I'm wearing a halo.
Usually you have the Fred Durst look.
Oh my
Tonight's
goodness
something
gracious.
different.
Oh wait, hold
Tonight's
on. Let's
something
get that
different.
light going.
Oh
Let's get that light
gosh.
going. There we
That's better.
go.
Thank you.
Jay looks a lot better than I do. This is Dark
Glad
Side
that
of the
you're my lighting
Stream.
guy.
You're welcome. 104.7 The Cave. This week was Jay's pick.
No, your pick.
No, this is where you're
Oh,
on
was
the
it my
even. It
pick?
was your pick.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Jay picked the Conversations with a Killer, the John Wayne Gacy tapes.
I think I saw the clown and I thought it was going to
I
be
was like,
happy.
it's supposed to be fun. I thought it was a comedy. What the hell happened? So this, I'm sure you've heard the story of John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown, and we'll get into that. But before we do that, over the week when I was watching it, I was with my eldest, who's 15, and I started, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't want to.
You watched it with her?
No.
Wow.
He looks at me and goes, I already watched this. And I was like, whoa, you already watched this thing? And he's like, yeah, I did. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. Well, so yeah,
Okay.
it kind of blew me away that my 15-year-old had already seen it. But because there was some graphic stuff in this documentary. It tells the story of a man who killed over 30 people in the Illinois area in the 70s before he was caught in the late 70s after one kid went missing from a pharmacy, and one of the girls that he worked with just happened to put a
So random.
receipt into his jacket for whatever reason.
Yeah, fate, man.
That is how he got caught. Had that not happened, he probably would have killed more. Honestly, he would have killed more because Wayne Gacy looked at people like you look at, Post-it
Yeah,
note. You
track.
take it, you're like,
No
I'm,
connection.
I need this to write a note to Jay that says, hey, do this. And then Jay
almost
sees
like
it,
a control
no problem.
thing, like a power control type thing. Like
The level, you could get into like how, well, maybe he's an onion or whatever the whole thing is. But bottom line is this: that guy was evil. And I think he probably killed more than 33, which.
But the weird part is that he was kind of rooted in the community and like a respected community leader, and
politics,
that was the real weird part,
big
man.
part of the Democratic,
and that they didn't know he had a prior criminal record in another state. Like,
yeah, well,
yeah,
the cop
wow,
talks about that, how back then there's so many prolific serial
no
killers,
internet, no.
because they're what cops they didn't talk to each other. So once he relocated, in the outside of the Chicago area after he had been charged with sodomy. I'll tell you this too. One of the interviews they did with one of the guys that he had, I guess, molested, assaulted in that town that he got busted when he was married. That was a trip.
Yeah.
To hear his story, and then because he didn't say anything, never told anybody about it. It just happened. Then he would do it to the kid of like a mayor, or it was someone important's kid, and then he got told on.
Ratted out, yeah.
He went to prison, did exactly what he always did, manipulated and used. He became the head kitchen guy and used food as a way to get out. It's an incredibly
real brass
scary
kind of guy, man. Real brass, real big personality, and it's wild, man.
Felt like he was better than everybody else, and definitely deserved to get.
But here's the problem. I would think like the rule of if you killed someone, okay, self-defense or not or whatever, isn't the golden rule like hide the body, dispose of it, not in your own house, not under your house?
27 bodies.
Dude put 27 bodies under his house.
His house.
How you kill somebody and you just, I'm gonna put him underneath my house? Like, everybody knows if like something goes down, get rid of the body. Like,
Jay Stevens, Mike the intern, trying to figure out the perfect crime. This is Dark Side of the Stream. We'll continue next on 104.7 The Cave. Mike the intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio, Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave, discussing Conversations with the Killer, John Wayne Gacy. All right, so Jay made a very good point before we went to break, and that was, if you're trying to commit a murder, trying to do something, the last place you'd want to hide it would be under your house.
They would say no body,
well, I think that plays,
right?
yeah. Well, I think that plays two ways, because let's say that, for example, he did throw the 27 people that he buried under his home into the river. Chances are one of those bodies is going to float and be caught, right? Chances are more than one. If they find the body, then it's going to lead back to him. The chances are, so he, in his mind, I think, thought that if he controlled where it was, he controlled the narrative. But the problem was eventually he ran out of room. Now here's the other
He
thing.
ran out of room.
We
Of
did. He
bodies under
that's
his
what
house.
that's what happened with the last few that he said that he didn't have any more room under his house. He didn't know what to do. He couldn't do anything. He had the boys that worked for him dig in his basement in crawl space where other bodies had been buried and hidden. How the hell did they not find that stuff? It wasn't like it was dug that deep.
There was a lot of wacky questions on this one for sure.
The other thing that just breaks my heart, other than the victims and the families and all that stuff, but like those cops, dude, like when they found those bodies, this was over Christmas. Like, can you imagine your Christmas break, like right before
And you're
Christmas,
shoveling
almost to
bodies
the end of
in
the
a crawl
year?
space under a house.
You're literally underneath the house, freezing your butt off, digging in mud.
Smell of death everywhere.
27 times you have to
Ugh.
take a body out of there over Christmas. How do you think your Christmases are going to be for the rest of your life?
Nasty.
Can you imagine?
Here's the other question. Say you live next door at your house, and cops show up one day next door, and next thing you know, they're pulling 27 bodies out of the basement. Are you moving?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Like, would you not trip out?
Dude, I'd be gone. That'd be gone. I mean, it's relative, though. If that happened now, I'd be in no position. Somebody might be like, well, we're stuck
Yeah,
here.
what are you going to do?
Oh, there's
Can't
no
afford to buy a house nowadays.
Hope ghosts don't move to different houses. But yeah, at the same
dude.
time, I don't know what the hell you do. But yeah, definitely a trip. And, he had kids too.
Yeah, wife.
He
and
had
kids.
wife, kids. He had kids that visited him in prison
Dude,
after he did this.
You never know, right? You never know.
I don't know how the hell as a kid you could go visit your parent after you heard them destroy 30 plus lives. I don't get it. Not my call. Thank God I don't have to deal with it. We'll find out more next Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. Dark Side of the Stream episode. I believe this is 96. We're getting close to a hundo, and we are discussing conversations with a killer, John Wayne Gacy. I knew a lot about this case. I knew a lot about, what had happened, but I'll tell you right now, my friend, there was just
pretty deep, man.
It gets real crazy. And when you hear him in the conversations that he had with the certain people that he did, the crazy thing was the cops knew he had something to do with this stuff. And he tried to use some of his political clout to get them to back off, and they knew that there was a possibility of that happening. But he like treated these guys like they were his friends.
Yeah,
and
that's where they scored.
It's crazy.
Thought they were buddies
because he brought him in for drink. One of the guys went to use the bathroom. Heater kicks on. He smells decay. He's like, "Wait a minute, something's wrong." They end up getting a second search warrant, which the first one didn't come up with anything, which means extremely tough if you get into that, especially with anyone of political clout. Because if they failed that, it'd be he walks. But luckily, I guess not luckily, but somehow they smelled something.
Well, and this Gacy guy, he says that he wasn't.
He said he was bisexual.
Yeah,
he did admit to that.
He would meet these boys, and he would have these guys, and he would have sex with them, and then kill them.
But it was like
trade sex, and then
it was almost like a rage thing. Like he was punishing them, and then killing. Like what I heard, one of them explained it was from a psychological standpoint was that he had rage because he couldn't accept who he was. And so every time he killed, he was supposedly killing that part of himself and burying it. The problem with that is you're never going to stop that. The only thing that you can do, and this is something I had to have a conversation with my 15-year-old about, do not fight who you are. If you know who you are, accept who you are, and be who you are. Because if you don't, bad things will happen. Just like this. If this guy could have accepted the fact, if his father hadn't been different, or he could have accepted the fact that he was either a full-blown homosexual or he was bisexual, whatever the case may be, if he could have accepted that fact about himself,
it seemed like we
probably wouldn't be talking about this guy. He'd just been another dude. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
The other thing that's really sad is that, one of his assaults, the one guy got away. He actually, when he ran out of space, decided to let that guy go, who then gets picked up, but he goes to the police station. But the cops at the time
didn't
do anything about it. That's just another guy on
This
guy
happens,
crime.
though. This happens repeatedly. Like the other guy that was eating guys. Remember?
Yeah,
more
same
modern day
thing.
time.
He
He's
got
eating-
away. Yeah, got
guy
away.
got
yeah.
away. So what's
Guy
going
on guy. We're not
Eh,
going to deal with it.
you're on
That's their own
drugs,
thing.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the cops that were involved in it were like, "Hey, these dudes dropped the ball all day,"
Yeah.
and they did, because it was like 4 other victims after that one. You know what I mean? And they counted, and they show the cops dropped the ball big time. Cops in Chicago definitely dropped the ball on that one, and those 4 additional are on him because hey, the guy who got assaulted found Gacy on his own.
Yes.
Went to the intersection or the exit that he had remembered him taking between being chloroformed, and sees it and is just like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." Anyway, we'll get to our conclusions in our I don't know, whatever we're going to call it, this clown outfits next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio, Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. So how many creepy clown paintings would you give this documentary?
I'd give it a good 4, I
Yeah,
think.
I do too.
It was really disturbing, and it was it's just a trip to see into that side of the world, or like reality. Like that this can happen.
It's an alien
literally
thing.
next door.
Yeah.
And some normal dude, this can happen.
BTK
the one thing
killer,
too,
man, look it
the
up.
one crazy thing also, as recently as last year, they identified another
Yeah,
body.
they still have like what,
They're
4 or 5? They don't know.
Bodies that they found out of that house.
Yeah.
That's
sad, because the reason it was a runaway, he was probably homosexual, and they just
probably
didn't
had
care.
a crappy
Just
home
whatever.
life or something.
Just
so
ran away, and
not
that
good
was it.
communication.
They don't care, which is sad.
Gnarly. All right, what's
sad.
your pick, Mike? Please lift us out. Please lift us out of the
I'd say
gutter.
4. I'd say 4 crazy clown paintings. If you ever want to see one of his, if you're into like South Texas early proto metal stuff, there's a band called Acid Bath that has one of his paintings as one of their record covers when the kite string pops. Incredible record. Anyway, I digress. My pick for Dark Side of the Stream is something my mom's been blowing me up about. You got to watch this. You got to watch this. Someone hit us up on the social media channels. The Girl in the Picture.
Okay.
Have you heard of this one?
I literally, we were talking about it last night.
All right, cool. Awesome. Well, I don't know anything about it.
I was told to watch it. The missus watched part of it and said she was going to pause it and wait for me. So.
All right, cool. Well, then you guys watch it together. I'll watch it with my wife. As always, you can stream these online, 1047thecave.com, on our 104.7 The Cave app. I'm Mike the Intern. This is Jay Stevens reminding you,
if you kill somebody, hide the body. Don't put it under your house.
Don't bury him under your house.
That's the lesson learned.
And we watch movies
documentaries
so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.